1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a thumb war.
If you want to see the finish of this match, subscribe now.
Turn notifications on.
Yo, what's going on, guys? CTD from C2 Wrestling, and as you can tell from the title of this video, we have breaking news coming from Fightful and Sean Ross that WWE's post-WrestleMania releases or not contract renewals have officially hit. I will say the list that currently we have at the time of this recording. What we're not going to do, though, is we're not going to do a few things. We are not going to, one, speculate on whether this person was released or their contract was expired because I don't have that information. That would just be stupid to speculate and lying if I tried to guess or pretended that I knew which one it was. Not that it really matters to begin with. What we're also not going to do is try to speculate who may also be gone or who we think should go or anything. We don't do shit like that. Obviously, we want everyone to have employment. And the beauty of wrestling in 2025 is the business is booming, not just in WWE. We see people signing exclusive contracts with AEW, obviously, TNA, obviously, New Japan, obviously. The independents are booming again. Like, it is at least comforting that in 2025 it is not doom and gloom. These very talented wrestlers, none of them release strictly on ability or not renewed. They have plenty of landing spots, and some of these places are going to be very, very lucky to get these talents. So, what I am going to do is I'm going to say the list at the time of this recording on who we know. We'll talk a little bit about some of them, but also talk about where we would like to see them. Because if there's one thing we're sure of, this entire crop of talent is going to end up on your television screens, whether it's in AEW, whether it's in TNA, whether it's in New Japan, whether it's back to WWE, because you never say never. Some of these people were already let go once and brought back again. So you never say never in the wrestling industry. The names that we have at the time of this recording are Cora Jade, Eddie Thorpe, Riley Osborne, Gigi Dolan coming out of NXT, and then Braun Strowman, Shayna Baszler, Dakota Kai, Katana Chance, and Caden Carter. So, first things first, Braun Strowman. He was one of the first names that Sean Ross tweeted out. Someone who has been released in the past and brought back. There were moments where it was hitting with Strowman, and then there were moments where he just was gone on TV, or gone off TV, I should say. I think of his feud with Bronson Reed. That at one point was the most must-see segment of Monday Night Raw. Then I think of his feud with Jacob Fatu, which, let's be real, Braun Strowman elevated Jacob Fatu a lot. Jacob Fatu is fantastic. Jacob Fatu fucking rules. He is not at the level he is at without Braun Strowman having Jacob Fatu essentially beat the shit out of him and show how dominant and strong he can be, and he is. So credit to Braun Strowman, because I feel like some people, are very quick to criticize Braun Strowman, especially in 2025. But he has had some great moments in his second run in WWE, and a name that will be weird to not see him in WWE because that's where he started. He wasn't an independent wrestler before, but we obviously wish the best to all of these people. We'll go through some others. Shayna Baszler posted. Obviously, she is gone. She is someone where I wouldn't be shocked if we got Shayna a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit everywhere before she officially stayed somewhere. Because I think of, her in Bloodsport was like literally fit like a glove, the perfect match made in heaven. I would love to see Shayna in Japan. I feel like there'd be some awesome matches of her style to happen in Japan. Do a little bit of a run in the indies as our mascot of C2 Wrestling hops in the background. Matchups in TNA are obviously there. Matchups in AEW are obviously there. But Shayna, to me, is someone that in the WWE umbrella Man, like unless they absolutely love you, they put such a ceiling on that type of character, if we're being honest. Like if you're not getting if you're not getting the matches to or the time in your matches to wrestle her style, to be as dominant as she once was in NXT and on the main roster, then people aren't going to be able to grab to her. She was once this killer that we knew of. And if you're not having her in relevant programs, I mean, you can say that for any of these wrestlers, but if you're not having that type of character be dominant, it's so tough to kind of do anything for the fan base. Not to say set up to fail, but it feels like there could have been something. I mean, even we had they had the Pure Fusion Collective. It seemed like Shayna and Zoe Stark were starting to do something with like a right to censor type gimmick, which honestly would have fit them perfectly. Like that, them in the tag team division, which obviously Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, that's a tag team out of the tag team division. Them in the tag team division with that rebranded gimmick could have been something, but who knows? It's not something that's never going to happen, or I should say it's not impossible that it never happens, but I would assume odds are it doesn't. Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, I mentioned them. They obviously were one of the very few legit women's tag teams that it felt like it. They were together for so long, it did not feel like they had just been thrown together. When they were in stories for the tag titles, it felt like, okay, this is an actual established tag team. Yes, they may not be winning, but they are former champions. But they were a legit tag team at least, and they were just never on. Let's be honest. Like the writing would be on the wall if they're never using you, never having you on TV. And it's a shame because the women's tag team division, it feels like every time they start to care about it, they quickly stop caring about it. And a team like Katana Chance and Kaden Carter can only get so far if the tag team division really isn't given that much attention or care. Speaking of the tag team division, Gigi Dolan was loving what they were doing in NXT with Gigi Dolan, Tatum Paxley, and Shotzi. That was a like made perfect sense trio, made sense for the tag team division. Snowden and I have said multiple times on here that the women's tag titles should be in NXT, especially with this TNA partnership and them having the TNA women's tag titles. No disrespect to Liv and Raquel, obviously. They could still even be the damn champs and, work multiple shows. But the NXT brand had what felt like to me the better tag team division because it got more time. The women they have a much deeper women's roster. Not that the main roster is bad, but the women's tag team titles would have gotten a little bit more shine there, similar to the women's North American title and the NXT Women's Championship. So they could have done something with that trio. We saw them working in TNA literally just the other day. So obviously a shame, but I could absolutely see Gigi Dolan going to TNA. I'm not sure if she's engaged, married, dating, but I believe her partner is Zachary Wentz of the Rascals. So a lot of times you end up seeing someone go work where their significant other works. But yeah, just loaded talent. Eddie Thorpe was literally just in the NXT title hunt and just had a relevant story with Trick Williams. Cora Jade just in a story with Roxanne Perez. Feel like we didn't even really get the payoff of that. I believe Sean Ross had said, I could be wrong, but I believe he had said some writing is on the wall for some of the stories that have either ended or were cut short, and that may fall for the Cora Jades, the Eddie Thorpes. Um, Lastly, before I head out of here, I do want to talk about Riley Osborne, who got released. We know his wife, Bea Priestley, was released earlier, or not renewed. I forget when it was. Riley Osborne, they had him in the Ultimate X match. That's a future X Division champion right there. Like I don't want to say every single one of these people are going to go to TNA. I love TNA, so I automatically start pairing them to it. But Riley Osborne, X Division champion, sign me up. I would love that. Ever since Chase U, that story came and went, and now it seems like they're bringing it back. But You would have the elephant in the room of like Riley Osborne and Thea Hale. Thea Hale, I guess they're kind of moving her towards a different story, but Riley Osborne would have made sense to go back to that story, but obviously wasn't meant to be, whether he was released or not renewed. We wish the best of luck to all of the talent that was let go. It sucks. I know it's a part of the business, but you never want to hear anyone losing their job in any circumstance. So, wishing the best to all of these talent. We know they are going to do just fine because of the plethora of options out there. And I'm very excited to see what some of them will do outside of WWE and see what the future holds for some of them. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new, turn on notifications, and come hang out with us next Saturday. We'll be live for Backlash, our live reactions, John Cena versus Randy Orton, one more time. I've been CTD, Tommy Boy. Don't know where he went. The mascot of C2 Wrestling. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.